Good morning, everybody. Oh, I forgot to set the chat up. Yay. Oh, and my logo camera's gone a bit funny. Okay, let's fix a few things. Sorry, folks. There's a bit of a, there we go, that's one. And a bit of a rush this morning, which is surprising because I've been up since 3. So you'd think I would have had plenty of time. There you go. Logo is fixed. Chat is fixed. Hi, everyone. Ribbit. Dishipu. Ribbit. Hi. Should we start again? Should I shut it all down? Let's restart from the start. Everyone can watch the countdown. No, I'm kidding. Cheers, everyone. Hi. Welcome. Brand new hot coffee. Sorry, just a small one. But, yeah. Another one was cold, and I lost track of time, so starting late. Oh boy, how's everyone's week been? Has it been good? No, more bad noise. What? What? The tubes of you. More bad noise. Okay, I'm lost. I think Bruce is looking forward to having a nice nap. Go outside and watch the sun. Okay. Gonna have a nap, go watch the sun. I'm confused. I think Bruce is finally cracked. He's finally cracked. The boomy intro ends up being rather loud. Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. Got it. Ooh, Beata's found his bicycle. Nice. I've been meaning to ask you, Beata, how's the reconstruction of the makerspace going? Is it all kind of back up mostly and going? Did you, I don't know, I kind of lost track of how things were going. Did you call things? Whoa! Good morning. How are you, mate? It's been a while. Yeah, the coffee is good. It, yum. Very good. Apologies if I'm slurping. It's, sometimes the coffee's so good that just slurping's, yeah, gotta slurp. I want to quickly recompile something before I show you. Just want to, yep, yep, I don't know what that is. It's weird. Okay, I'm just gonna rebuild. Okay. So lots of stuff I want to do today. Lots of stuff to show you. Things I've been working on, but got some good news first. Before I do the good news, let's say hi to everyone in chat. Let's do that first. Yes, while the list is small. Mr. England, hello, stay calm. T-minus 90. Wow, you're also up early. Yumbo Prime, hello. Is running out of coffee. That's like sacrilegious. Coffee and milk you can't run out of. Like, they're the two things. Everything else, whatever. Water, you can run out of water. It's not coffee. Graham, good morning. Johnny, hello. Dutch Taurus, hi. David Dessa. Ooh, Antonio, hello. Used to be a tea slave when I did work experience in electronics repair shop back in the day. I like a cup of tea occasionally, but nothing like a cup of coffee to get you going in the morning. Sean, hello. Tishipu, hi. Technubulus, good morning. Beata said hi already. Is anyone else? No, X-Micron, hello. Oh, I don't have to apologize for missing anything, Digicool things. There's no requirement to be here at all. Life and work and projects are more important. It's just having a schedule. Oh, that's okay. Bruce, Beata, being nice. Just looking for see if there's a reply from Beata about the makerspace stuff. Here we go. I recently got an email about that, mostly not going due to issues with leasing and insurance. Oh no. Wow. Sorry to hear. Frustrating. Very frustrating. Okay, so I'm going to have a frustrating but exciting day today because look what arrived yesterday. Panels for SQUiXL. There's the SQUiXL PCB and the USB dock panels. That's for the docking station. And the USB-C adapter one for the adapter that will come with the SQUiXL. So I have panels here and I have stencils, and for a change, JLC didn't wreck my stencils. Yay. So these have not been set up on the pick and place yet. I have to do that, and that's, depending on whether I want to be a pain to Xeon or not, that is a slow and arduous process. I can do it quickly and cowboy style, and then future Xeon will suffer the consequences when he tries to manufacture them, or I can take my time and do it properly, and then future Xeon will be happy with current Xeon. So I think I might do that, but I've got to do that today, and then yeah, like I've got some revised 3D designs for the dock and for the adapter, but I haven't printed them out yet because I want the PCBs to check them against. So they arrived, and I want to make still a couple of tweaks to the overall case because there are some changes. Some of you might remember I'm using an external antenna now, not an onboard antenna. So there's a UFL connector at the top of the PCB for an antenna to go on there and hang out. So I just need to refine where the antenna is going to sit inside. And so I'm going to the little air slots that are at the back there. They're going to be taken away, or they're going to be moved somewhere else, because the last thing you want to do is see an ugly antenna inside sitting there. So there's stuff like that to do. But it looks like I'm going to be doing a first batch of these very soon. I've started working on the product page for the store. It's got a long way to go. Photography is very hard for this type of thing. So it's all coming together. I don't know when. I don't have a date. But I'm going to do, as I said a few weeks ago, I'm going to do just a short run to start with. I'll probably make enough for 20 units, but I'll probably only release 5 or 6 at the start for people that really desperately want one, but understanding that the firmware is going to be a work in progress forever. And the firmware I'm working on right now, the stuff I'm going to show you that I've been showing and I'm going to continue working on, there's no purpose to the firmware. It's a elaborate demo, right? It's not like you're going to get it, and if you get a SQUiXL, you're going to get it, and this firmware on there is going to do all these wonderful things for you. It's not. It's just a I'm trying to make a very fancy polished demo of the things you can do with it, and it'll have some functionality, right? And I'm going to keep working on it and making it have more functionality. So it might end up being a very useful demo that people might just use as is. I don't know. It's possible. But it's still a launching point for people to be able to then make their own stuff, right? And I put on my thumbnail today, for those that looked at the thumbnail or read the description of the stream. I started working on a version, not a version of the kind of a version of firmware, but little VGL based. So I know that some people want to use little VGL. Some people, want to have the chance to do the ESP home, or not ESP home, was it home assistant stuff using little VGL and stuff. And so I've got bindings and everything. I haven't set up the touch stuff yet, but I can actually boot firmware on SQUIXL that runs the little VGL backend, which means none of my code will work on it, none of my UI code will work on it, but you can code little VGL. People that wants pain will use these. Right, that's up to them if they want to. Hey, Johnny, how you doing? Oh, Embedded Hobbyist, hello. So I might do some of that today as well. I don't know, we'll see. Stuff to show you on this though before. Did that work? No. I found another bug for Larry. Cool. Yay. Yeah. Okay. Found another bug for Larry. So yeah. So I'll be releasing them with the understanding that okay, there's this build back better something. Nice alarm clock. It's well, it doesn't even have alarms right now, but it will have. That's the thing. Anyway, it'll be under the initial batch will be under the understanding that all the firmware and all the support is early still. But I've got a lot of things planned for the firmware, my own firmware, not the little VGL side. I don't have to make anything other than a base. Here it is running little VGL with some example, something on the screen, right? Because if you're doing little VGL, then you need to, you program the UI using their stuff. And they've got some really cool stuff. Like I'm curious to see how some of the things that they've got work on this, things like the keyboard, they've got keyboards and stuff. But yeah, my focus is going to be on my own kind of firmware, because there are some things that I'm doing that I can't really work out in my head how I would do it in little VGL. And little VGL is also not the most performant thing, although Larry has some improvements for little VGL, but it's kind of a sticky point. There's some pretty cool optimizations that make things much more performant. But anyway, I'm not going to go into it. No, that's not for me to talk about. So anyway, that's going to do that as well. Okay, so should we do a little bit of a demo of stuff I've been working on, stuff I've done, and then I want to keep working on some of the things that I'm about to show you. Or we can just jump into doing some little VGL stuff. Either way, the little VGL stuff, I don't know how to use little VGL. I've never made anything with it. But I need to get the touch stuff happening. I need to just dig into Larry's code and see how to hook in the touch IC. He's got an example somewhere about how to do it for a different touch device, and I want to get that working. But yeah. Okay, let's just do it. We'll go into demo mode. Don't know how I'm going to do it though, because I need to hold the device. Like some things I can show on device on the dock, some things I have to pick up and show you. Okay, whatever. let's just do it. Let's is it that one? Okay, so I know it looks the same. I can't remember what I showed last week. So I showed that I've got swiping panels going, like swiping screens. Ooh, that background blue looks terrible. Hang on, let me see if I can. That's not light blue on the device. It's a beautiful, rich blue. If I make that too dark, that looks more like what it does on the device. No, I'll go to that one. Okay, I don't know how dark that's gonna be now for my hand and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty dark. Anyway, just to show, just for now. So I showed that you can do, it's a nice blue, like it's a waste, but now the blacks are really dark. Like you can't see much of the color around here now. There is color in the background there. Hey, Brent. Yeah, so swiping works. You can set up navigation, whatever. So what I've been working on so many things all at once, which is really cool because lots of things are progressing, but it's frustrating because nothing's complete, but it's getting there. So I started working on UI elements, right? So these are some UI elements that I've currently made. Still tweaking with some of the color. You'll understand why in a moment. But like so far I've got a basic button. Not sure if you can hear the bing, bing. These are toggles. So you can set up a toggle, tell it what its labels are. This is a toggle that's also got a name, but you can't quite read it. It says sky direction or sky dirk. So sky is either up or down. And then we've got a slider. So this is a value slider. I want to do the first thing I want to work on today is some initial changes to this. You can also just press. And so all of these have callbacks. Hey, half Greek geek. Howdy. These are all callbacks, have callbacks that you can assign. So when you let go of a slider, it will fire a callback that you can then, with that value. So you can change a setting or whatever. Buttons have a callback to do something. Toggles have a callback that'll pass its state, all that type of stuff. But the other thing I'm going to do, which I've got on my TinyWatch project, is that I've got a system that allows me to bind settings. So like a 24-hour, 12-hour mode for the clock display, where you can bind a setting like a bool to a control, and so it'll set the control based on the setting when you first see it, and when you change it, it changes that setting in the settings file. So when it saves the settings, you've actually saved it, and it doesn't use a callback at all. It uses like a bound thing that I developed for TinyWatch. I'm going to move all that across as well. So they're things I'm working on, but I've got a lot more planned. This is Platform IO. It's Arduino in Platform IO. None of this is possible with MicroPython right now because there's no ability to use this display not with the RGB peripheral on the ESP32S3 because that's not exposed in MicroPython. You can't do that. So there's no way to drive this display through regular MicroPython. I know that Primaroni have a product called Presto, which uses the same screen, different controller board, same screen, but they're using an RP2040 or 2350, and they've set up a custom way of controlling the screen with PIO. So even though they're using MicroPython, their code is 100% tied to the RP2350. Like it's not compatible with this or anything else. So, but But this is using the built-in peripheral inside the ESP32S3. It's called an RGB peripheral, and that's what's driving the screen. So, yeah. Oh, so one thing that I've started, the reason this is too dark and you can't read that heading is because I've been making all of these widgets, these controls, they're all dynamically, their visuals are dynamic to the color of the background of the screen. So if I tap and hold, you'll see a bug in a moment. If I tap and hold, I can change, it'll just pick a random color. The bug is, you see down the bottom here, it hasn't quite finished redrawing. There's a PSRAM cache issue. I'll have to speak to Larry about. It's not updating the PSRAM before it refreshes the screen. If I move the screen, oops, I did it again. It will eventually fill it, but it's just a timing issue. But you can see here, these are all adapting. So it's just picking a random color. I've got no, like it could pick the same one twice in a row. But it's just to show you as an example. See, it just did that then. These visuals are all based off the color behind it. Job displays, no, it's a 565, not a 666. These are all 565 displays. Even a 666 would be too much more extra memory. Yeah, these are, no, there are 666s. There's a new, I've seen 666 displays. Yeah, that extra bit on the red and the blue really pushes things up in memory. You know, I mean, this is 480 by 480, so that's a big buffer, right? And so the extra pixel, the extra, you know, bits. Anyway, so yeah, yeah. So everyone's favorite thing. Let's look at code. No, I haven't finished the demo. So something that's very important. It runs off battery. Oh, so because everyone noticed there's a little Wi-Fi icon now. So it shows you that Wi-Fi is active. It doesn't show you the IP address anywhere at the moment. We'll get to that. Or I haven't got to that yet. But something that's kind of important is that obviously this is designed to be portable, and it will ship with a battery, right? It will ship complete. So you'll be able to turn it on and then whatever. But you might notice that it shows the battery, the voltage, percentage, and the CPU speed. And it's got a timer and a dimmer on the screen now. Now the screen dimming isn't going to be so good. You might see, I just touched it, got a bit brighter. The camera's going to compensate. So the camera will adjust the brightness, its aperture to match, so you might not see the difference. But you can see whenever you touch the screen, it goes to full speed, right? Oops. Oh, that's not supposed to happen there. Oh, there you go. There's a nice bug. Will it happen here? Yeah, it will too. Interesting. I thought I locked it just to the setting screen. Maybe I forgot to do that. That's ugly. Let's just restart that. That looks terrible. Yeah, well, I'm using on this. I'm running. Every screen that you see has got 4 full resolution buffers. I've got 8 megabytes of octal PSRAM in this thing, and I am obliterating the PSRAM on purpose. Anyway, so you might notice, like, it's in its dimmest mode and it's at 80 megahertz. It goes all the way down to 80. If I touch it, it brightens up and goes back up to 240 megahertz. And so when you're interacting with it, it runs at full speed. But based on a timer, and this is a timer that you'll be able to set yourself, but yeah, live demos full of bugs. But right now it's set to 15 seconds. So every 15 seconds, it'll dim the screen a little bit, the backlight, and it'll drop. So it'll go from 240 to 160, and then it'll go down to 80. I might just drop it down to 80 straight away because it doesn't do anything at 160. Well, you could be using a web server on it or something, but Wi-Fi still works at 80, so it won't drop below 80. So Wi-Fi is still active right now, and I can still do whatever. But it'll automatically go back to 240. The point of all of this is, if I just leave it, leave it there, you'll be able to just watch it. It will dim, go all the way down, and then it'll go into deep sleep. And to wake it from deep sleep, you just touch the screen and it'll wake up. And so we'll let it go into deep sleep. So I've got all of that stuff going now. I worked out though, I'm annoyed, although it's to be expected that stuff like this was going to get found. I worked out that I can't have it wake from deep sleep when you put it on the dock or when you connect 5 volts. Because I'm completely out of I/O. Some of you might remember not only am I using every single I/O on the ESP32 and another 12 I/O on an I/O expander, but I'm also sharing 4 of the I/O on the ESP32 between the I2S audio amplifier and the SD card. I'm so out of I/O that I've doubled up heaps of I/O, like 4 I/O, and using another 12 from an I/O expander, right? So the V-bus detection, that when it knows that it's back on charge, that is via the I/O expander, and the I/O expander, I wonder if I need to check if I've got the interrupt set up. Anyway, to do something like wake from charge, like, detect that it's on the thing, that requires it to be connected to an RTC I/O, native I/O on the S3, which the V-bus sense isn't. But maybe, okay, anyway, we'll get back to that. So it's gone into sleep mode, right? So it's pretty much everything's powered down. Everything that can hibernate or is turned off is off. The haptic engine is turned off. The basically anything that can get shut down is shut down. And then so for those that are aware or those that aren't aware, with an ESP32, when you wake it from deep sleep, it's just like turning it on. Like right now, it's like it's off, kind of. Like you can do things like interrupt detection, like whatever, but there are no CPU cores running. The flash is turned off. The PSRAM is turned off. All that stuff's powered down. So when you wake it from deep sleep, it pretty much does a boot, because there's no user code running right now, so it's going to start the user code from scratch, like a clean boot. But you can detect all the clean boot, like a power up, right? But you can detect why it woke, and so it knows it woke from sleep rather than a clean power up. And so I can do things like, when I touch it, it takes a couple of seconds to wake up. It goes straight into wherever you were. It has to go back to the internet and find some stuff and whatever, but it doesn't go through the logo boot process, right? So I've got all that type of stuff working as well, which is, it's very cool. Anyway, so in terms of how long does the battery last, well, I'll get to your question in a second, Half Greek Geek. I, the other day, took this off charge when I went to bed. So I just literally took it off, sat it down on the table, and then checked it about 9 hours later. So it had been fully charged. Checked it 9 hours later, and the battery had gone from 100% to 93%. So it lost 7% of the battery in 9 hours. Admittedly, it's 9 hours of deep sleep, but that means that you could let it sit there for days without the battery running out, which is pretty cool. Although obviously with a LiPo, it's a curve, right? So it'll stay at the high end for longer, and then as it starts to deplete quicker, like closer it gets to the nominal, the faster it goes. So, you know, you can't go 7%. Well, that means you can get 90 hours. It doesn't work that way, but still. I reckon like you could probably, hopefully go 2 or 3 days before having to charge it again. So I think that's pretty cool. Do you get Wi-Fi data hiccups when switching low-high CPU speed? No, not that I've seen. But you won't be able to tell, because the way the whole Wi-Fi system works with this is in a task handler. My Wi-Fi solution for this, it was written for TinyWatch. There's a lot of stuff I did in TinyWatch that I've brought over, right? Because I had to, like, TinyWatch is it's got a little battery, and it's designed to always be on the battery, not be used when it's in a dock. You know what I mean? When 5 volts is present. So everything about TinyWatch is about efficiency, and so TinyWatch is designed to not keep Wi-Fi on, but when you need Wi-Fi, you say, "Hey, get me some data from this website," and it puts it into a queue, and then if the Wi-Fi is not connected, it connects the Wi-Fi, it gets the data from the website, and then it disconnects the Wi-Fi, and all that happens for you. You don't have to do any of that, right? You just fire off a request that says, you know, get me the weather. And so that was designed to make sure that Wi-Fi never stays on for long periods, because that chews the battery, right? On this, this can do the same thing, but I'm not shutting Wi-Fi down. I'm leaving Wi-Fi on, because there's a lot more on this that will use Wi-Fi, like the jokes and the weather and some other things that makes more sense to be on all the time. But the battery is also massive. It's 1500 milliamp hour battery compared to, a 300 or 400. How many hours have you spent on this project so far? Estimate. Hundreds. Hundreds. Not just the software, hardware wise. Yeah, a lot. A lot of time. Oh, shit. I just almost spilled my coffee everywhere. I didn't. I caught it. Oh, that would have been bad. That would have been all over my keyboard and my lap. How does it handle going in and out of Wi-Fi range? You can simulate by placing inside a biscuit tin. So the big question is, well, I don't know. Why would you care? Like, why would you even need to know that? Like, if it's out of range, it won't connect to a thing. It just like if it fires off a request to get the weather, and it can't get it, like if it gets an error, like if it can't connect to the Wi-Fi or whatever, then it waits and it retries later. Like yeah, like it's a portable device. It's designed to walk with it out of range and then walk back in. Yeah, but it's the same thing. Like, it's being out of range isn't a problem if you're not sending and receiving data, right? And if it loses connection, it reconnects. Like, yeah, I mean, like it should, right? If the Wi-Fi connection goes, next time it tries to go to the internet, it'll go, Jesus. Everyone hear that? Next time, well, it's not event driven, because there is no events like that. There's some event stuff that is specified ages ago, but it's terrible. No, this doesn't need that, because it all runs in a managed task that every time you say, get me this data, it goes, okay, cool. Am I online? Yep, great, get the data. Am I not online? Okay, go online, now get the data. Right, do I need to hold the connection open, or can I close the Wi-Fi connection? Right, and it does whatever. In this case, I tell it not to close it. And the very first time, like when it starts up, I don't say, hey, connect to the Wi-Fi. Okay, cool. Now go get some data. It just used to say, go get the data, and it decides if it needs to connect or not. So that way you never have to worry about it. Like all you do is say, get me a piece of data, or get me whatever, and it goes and does it. fire off a HTTP. Well, actually, you don't even fire the request off. You don't do that. I'll show you. That one, no, that one. So here, right? This is an example of, right? I just say Wi-Fi controller, add to the queue, and I pass it the URL, and I give it a callback function of what to do. And so it goes and does its thing. Like you can see here for the open weather map down the bottom. So it's adding requests to here to open weather, connecting to Wi-Fi. Here's the request, right? And at the end, it goes and calls its callback, which then grabs the data. I just print the data out, right? So all you do is fire off. You just add something to a queue. That's it. You never have to start the Wi-Fi, stop the Wi-Fi, or whatever, right? Yeah. So, but as I said, in this case, it will keep the Wi-Fi open because I don't think that's going to be a problem battery-wise. Yeah. Okay. So, some clear. I hope that clears things up or makes sense. I'm just going to lighten this back up again. Just so it looks a little bit nicer just for now. Are we in focus? We are. Okay, so is my Visual Studio Code screen big enough? Is the text big enough for everyone? I'll make it, oh, that's really big. Jesus. That's the next size up. I guess that's going to be better for everyone, but it's going to be worse for me. So some of the things that so I've started putting in just files for things I want to add. So like, for instance, I've got a button, I've got a toggle, I've got a slider. I also want to add a range slider. So 2 values, you move one end and the other end so you can set a range. I want to add a text box, which is going to need a keyboard. At some point, I'll do that. I want to add like a scroll list for things like, selecting a year or not a year, a month or a day of the week type thing. So my plans are pretty ambitious for the UI stuff, mostly just because I want to do it and prove to myself that I can. I mean, I've done it all before anyway. Like, it's not like I've never done these things before. I've built stacks of UI and interfaces, games, for editors for games, for whatever. This is a little bit harder because it's all about being on a constrained device and whatever. So it's really easy to build really bad UI objects, but it's really hard to build good ones. So for instance, this screen's not sitting here. I mean, the buffer, the peripheral is refreshing itself all the time, right? Putting it to the screen. But what you visually see on the screen, nothing's being rebuilt right now. Like, there's no CPU at all doing anything until I touch something, right? And when I go and move this, like this, that control's being redrawn, so therefore the screen's being updated, but these controls aren't being redrawn because they haven't changed, but that area on the screen isn't being affected by this, because this here is in its own buffer. Does that make sense? So all of this is like, I could have written this in what's called immediate mode, where the whole screen is being drawn all the time. And so even if I change something over here, it's literally rebuilding and redrawing all the primitives to everything else everywhere all the time. It's called immediate mode. It's the easiest way to make UI, right? You can do really cool stuff. Everything's dynamic. I could change this which could make this change, which could make that change, without having to worry about how to connect them all, because everything gets redrawn all the time, right? But that's expensive. Like that just chews the CPU. So doing UI like this is much, much harder. So a lot more thought's going to go into it, but I'm on a constrained device. Like I don't want to, I don't want someone to be able, build a huge screen of controls and then wonder why their battery drains in 20 minutes when they're on that screen. Like that's just stupid, right? Most you find the time to code this level and maintain your production runs. It's a struggle, yeah. I've always struggled to get things, get on top of things, because I seem to be too ambitious on all the things I start, but just chip away at it. Okay, so some simple things I want to do now. So on the slider, sorry, just quickly, another example is the text, right? The button text is centered. And to do a centered button, I need to know the size of the text that's in there. And if that text changes, then the centering of it changes. And so, the easiest way to do it would be, like, there are functions. Like Larry's got a function in his library that you can calculate the size of the text. Like Adafruit have got that in the graphics library and blah, blah, blah. But they're actually quite expensive to call those things all the time, whenever you need to. Not all the time, but whenever you need to. So I've even come up with a super fast way of doing all stuff like that, where it doesn't have to, it already knows all of the character data. So I cheat though. So let me explain. Not that you can necessarily tell by what you're seeing right now, but I'm only using monospaced fonts. So all the different fonts you're seeing, I've got bold fonts, I've got different size bold, different size regular. They're all the same font. They're all the Ubuntu font. But I'm only using monospaced fonts because I only need to know the width of a character to know that if I've got, so we've got 8 characters for the time, I can easily calculate how wide that is if I know the width of one character. If that was not a monospaced font, I'd have to go through and calculate the whole entire string width, which takes way more CPU cycles, way more expensive, right? And if I've got to do it for that one and that one and that one and that one and that one, you know what I mean? Like this is right justified text over here. And so I have to always know the size of that font, of that string and this string to know how to right justify them. But as a monospace font, I just need to know the width of the size font and how many letters there are, the string length, right? So I store stuff like that you got here. You've got value, length, and pixels. These get cached, and they only change if the value is changed. So the value is changed. So if I go to the slider, right, I'm on the slider right now. So at 34, that's centered. If I go down to here, the 0 is centered, and the 100 is centered. And so it only has to recalculate it on a value change. And all I need to know is the length times the character width, right? And I grab the character width from a helper. So I've got here, get cache thing. I tell it what my weight is, what the font size is, and I give it a 2 ints that pointers that stored back in again, and it stores those. Hey Ian, hey Quindor. So like I'm as I said, things take longer to develop this way, but I'm making sure that whatever I'm developing is as optimized and fast as possible, like, which is the complete opposite of little VGL, which is fine. Like it's just, little VGL is designed to work on a constrained device, but once you start doing things like transparency, here, there's transparent, that background there is transparent. This background here is transparent, and then the heading is a different transparency, right? Once you start doing like that, little VGL dies. Like it becomes so slow. So I'm making sure that everything I'm doing is super efficient. Anyway, whatever. So what I want to add here is I want to add a void set prefix const char star pre, and also want to do a set suffix. So it's one thing to have a value there, but what is that value? That 56, what is it, right? So set suffix. And so here we're going to have a, now I store them as using standard string. I'm in love now with standard string. For those unaware, I only got the Arduino string, which is the go-to, but the issue with Arduino string is you need to manage the memory of it, and it's really easy to have string corruption when you're passing data around. And
Cian, Chad has disconnected.
It's back. Whatever, with standard string doesn't, like standard string manages its own stuff. It's just really cool, and it's fully compatible with C string, the C string thing. As you'll see. Anyway, prefix and suffix. Is it suffix? That's how you spell it. And I'm going to be lazy right now. I'm going to do them in line. So I can just go equals pre, and even though this is a standard string and this is a const char star, standard string automatically knows how to make this standard string, right? Starting point equals string. Am I doing that? Yeah, that's how you kind of work out how to, the center position, wagon loads. Hi, by the way. So yes, something similar. And suffix equals suff. Okay, so now I can set a prefix and a suffix. So when I make, well, it's not going to do anything yet, but so when I set up the, so here I've got a button, I've got off, here's my slider. So I can set the min and the max, so 0 to 100. So I'm going to say example slider dot set suffix is going to be %. Okay. So back to my slider. I'm now going to, the string is now going to be, so value text gets set here, whatever the current value is, okay? And then we say if suffix so it doesn't equal that, we're going to, now I'm sure, I'll see if I can find a nicer way of doing string cat with it. There is a way, standard string's got a nicer way of doing, but this with standard string doesn't cost like the Arduino string does. Like when you do this with an Arduino string, it generates 3 strings. It generates 2 new strings, and then what it returns in the original string is a new string, and all those other ones are just chewed up memory that aren't cleared nicely, or that fragments the heap. So, but standard string doesn't have that issue. Anyway, so this will automatically put it at the end and then use that for its calculation. It should do. So now, should we also add them to? We should also add them to the, it shows you the 0 and the 100 for the range. So if it's going to be a percentage, we should do it to all of them, right? So if let's just make sure this one works first. It does not even use the heap for short strings. Yeah, standard string is great. It really is good. I avoided it for a long time, but it just really is. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've, you know, especially because I'm doing so many things through a task, like an RTOS task now. You can't use strings, like Arduino strings, for stuff like that. Like, they get corrupted. Like, you can't, like, you pass string or string pointers around and they just disappear and you can't work out, or you don't get to clean them up properly or whatever. So standard string, yeah, winner, absolute winner. So wagon load, that there is for, obviously, for a centered string, but it's, I'm not doing, no, I don't use screen width. It's based on the size of the buffer for the item that it's living in. But yes, that's how you do the centering. Okay, so, so that, did you notice that? Oh, that's very cool. See, the Wi-Fi was disconnected, and then when it was connected, it changed icon. Ooh. So see, now it's 50%. So, and it's centered. Oop. See that? Nice. Okay, so let's do prefix. And I'm going to allow people to do both, which probably won't make sense. Definitely with the demo I'm going to use. Is suffix 1 or 2 Fs? If prefix is 1, yeah, I don't know. I should look it up. Can I look from here? Is there a way to do spelling? Maybe. Wait. Sounds like the mess where every time you say A equals something in 64 basic, it stores the new value in a new space in RAM until it runs out of RAM. Yeah, it's just the nature of the way strings work. Strings are nasty on any platform, right? That's why, you know, char arrays or, you know, stuff like that, a better way, the older way of doing things in C was a better way of doing things. Yeah, just string management's hard. I used in the past char array and keep track of the number of characters in the string, and then use string copied, read, and right. But how messy is that? Like, how hard is that to do, to keep track of all of that? Like, you can't easily do dynamic stuff. If the string width changes dramatically, you can't allocate a buffer of 255 characters when your string is currently 5 characters long, just in case someone makes a string that's 250 characters long, right? Like, that's just a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. Okay, so we're going to add a prefix. $. So now we're going to have $%. Because, you know, because you can, but we're not, yeah. Like, I should make it be one or the other, but I don't know. I'm not going to enforce anything. If someone wants to be silly and do $%, okay. Bloop. Excuse me. Yeah, I get that. But with standards, I mean, okay, totally. And so, you know, I'm spoiled with an ESP32. with an S3, they got, you know, it's comparatively, they've got stacks of SRAM, although they also chew a stack of SRAM for things like TLS and stuff. And then also having, you know, stacks of PSRAM. You know, I'm being extravagant with the PSRAM. I'm not being lazy with it, but I'm being extravagant. Hey, Matt, how you doing? How strings work to Pascal? A byte kept track of the length, so Len was very fast. Sure. That's all under hood. If it's all under the hood, that's great. Okay, so now we've got $50%. But I just want to make sure that it's working. Okay, so now here's the thing. I want to make it do even more than that. So I want to say if, oh, you know what? Okay, so I'm going to put a couple of base things in that I'm not going to do yet, but just so I can have them there, right? I want a, where am I going to put it? UI control. Okay, I'm going to create a enum and call it value type. Actually, wait, before I do that, I might already have something similar that I want in my settings options. Settings option base. Okay, I've got type there, but that's part of that. So, okay. So, okay, I'm going to steal those, but this is going to be different. So I'm not going to try to use those. Value type. So int, bool, float, string. I think that'll do for now. And what I'm going to do with this is, so slider, value type, so you can let me do upper and lowercase equals value type. I'm going to default it. I'm going to make it int, but I'm going to actually keep them all as floats. So the min, max, and the current value is going to be stored as a float. Reason being is a float, you can make a float an int really easily. You can't make an int a float if it's point something. So I'm setting it to be an int. I'm telling it it's going to be an int, but I'm going to have to change a whole lot of stuff now for that. And I'm going to do a void voice. What? How much is it for everything? Set value type. And okay. But for now, we're going to leave it as an int. And I got rid of the $sign, I think. Didn't I? I did that. Good. Okay. So we need to now, and there's a lot of comments everywhere and stuff. Just me playing with different things and different whatever as I was going. I've changed, like the controls have evolved as I've been doing them, right? So there's a lot of like, you'll just see whatever. So that's where we're calculating where we've touched percentage wise on it. And then this current value is doing that, and then, which is fine, because that's all, yep. Now, then we need to say, for a slider, we're just going to be a float or an int. Like, I know that I had a bool and a string, but that doesn't make sense for a slider, right? So if value type equals value type int. Actually, no, we don't want to do that. We're not doing that there, actually. We can leave all that alone. I just realized. See, because they're floats right now, if I just rebuild this, it's going to display as a float. It's going to convert this to a string. So I'm assuming it's going to be 47.0%. We'll find out. The type's going to change how it displays it, not how it's stored. It's going to be stored as a float always. But in here, we're going to say value type equals, oops. Oh, I already had that. I forgot I copy and pasted it. Value type equals int. Then we're going to be going to convert it to an int. Otherwise, we're going to leave it as the current value. But I want to see how it looks first. Right. So we've got some formatting issues, but you can see here now. Whoa, look at that as well. Why is that 0 over there? I have to check that. So this is now doing a float change. So we need to add, right, so I'm going to rebuild this. This should put it back to an int display. And while I'm doing that, we also need a void set. Actually, no, we can do this on the set min max. So we've got a value min, value max. We need a float value step. And so here we're going to set min. Interesting there. They need to be floats now as well. Int max, comma float step. And so go set min max. Float, and float step. And value step equals step. Okay, does that is not showing, oh, it's showing int, but interesting, it's still keeping the zeros. Okay, I'll have to work why that is. It seems you will always be plus or minus 1 pixel from the center. Huh? Okay, why is this all... equals int. Why is this giving me? Does anyone know the difference between doing that and doing this? One's a cast and one's a anyway, split pixels. When you work out how to split atoms, then you can split pixels. Just got to be careful when you split a pixel. Big boom. Big boom. Sub-pixel displacement. Interesting. I wish there was a REPL for C++ or for C, so I could just type in down the bottom here, what is int this, and it'll just give me the value. Okay, so we need to here, we need to do the same thing. If value type hey Mad Techie. The other thing is, how do we do a toString might have, what is toString float? Oh, here we go, max exponent plus 20. We don't want that. How do I tell with a format? Oh, I can do a format? Oh, oh. Okay, let's do this. See, standard string, how cool. Okay, equals 0. Let's start with it equals 0. And then we want to say if value type equals int, we want that out. We want that out. They get calculated no matter what. Oops, wrong key. So if it equals int, then these are going to be %d. I think we can do that, can we? No? I thought we could do... Oh, maybe because it doesn't like, maybe it needs int. I thought we can do that. And this we want to be %0.1f. Why is it squiggling that? toString int, toString float. Was that doing that automatically? So I can't set it. Okay. We're going to go ChatGPT, folks. Let me see what I got open. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, so we're going to say using standard string, how do I convert a float using toString with only one decimal place? Hey, Dave. Quiz night. Woo! Oh, really? I have to do set precision? Oh, I can use standard format. Oh, that's C++ 20. Do you know, anyone know what version of C++ we're using? Ooh. Let's try it. Let's go. Let's see what happens. It might implode. It might implode. What am I doing? String. Yeah, I don't want to use set precision though. Preferably. UI elements. Actually, let's do an UI control. Wait, so what was it? We're going to do string format. So we've got uh-oh. Don't think it's going to like that. Let's go compile both of these, see what happens. Explode string at each decimal point. I could pad zeros. Yeah, but you don't want to do that in C. Oh, wait. Well, that's probably not liking that. Set, comma, 1.0. Okay. Let's clear this. Let's compile again. Let's fix the errors that we can fix so we can get to the errors that are important. Like, okay, format is not a member of standard. Really? No matching for call to string. Okay, so obviously we're not using C++ 20. So you can do it by manually manipulating the float value before passing it to the string. Check the code sample it gave me into LiveStream. Yeah, I don't want to have to manipulate it like that. That's no offense. That's just a crazy bit of code to have to call on every value change just to do that. But so okay, I'll look at set precision, but what version C++ does Arduino use? You watch, it's going to be 17. How's that for buggy reasoning? It's supposed to be showing the reasoning. What? Standard unit 11. Okay, we know it's not 11 here. Right. 17. Maybe you can set it. a newer C+11 by default. Yeah, you idiot. Because verifier is being used by turning on verbose compilation. Not 20. Yeah, clearly not 20. Okay. So where was that set precision? Okay, I have to use set precision. Arduino 3 release from expressive log. Arduino 3. Okay, so let's go back because we want int anyway. Let's undo. Let's get rid of that. So these are going to be ints. So this should be easy. This should just be that and int that. Okay. The issue is going to be okay. Let's just do this first. Let's go if it equals. We're going to assume it's just going to be float otherwise. Oh wait. Okay, that's a problem. String length min. I think I've lost everyone. Have I lost everyone? It's going to be that and want. For now, I'm going to put it here. It won't live here because I don't want to set it every time. Set precision. No? What was it? Oh, without a space. Without a thing. Set precision 1. Okay, that's going to do those ones. So then here, we're going to go the precision should already be set now. So that should only set it the first time once when the character width is being set up. Trying to find some code for me. Thanks. That's okay. Oh, bye, Dave. Catch you later. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I know I can specify, but I don't think I can specify 20. I remember somewhere 17 being the highest or something. I'm pretty sure. I think. I don't know. I don't know anymore. Have a good sleep, Dave. 2B or 20? I don't know what other compatibility issues I'm going to do by trying to push the version. Not 2B. Oh, right. I get it. 2B or not 2B. Get it. Got it. Good. Okay, so. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. Okay, so it's still setting that as an int. It's still showing that. I don't know why it's doing that. Set value type. Okay, let's see if the precision works, at least if it's a float. You know what I should do? That was silly. I should do this. Example slider 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 $, whatever. And it's going to be 80, so 60, 120, 140. And oh, I've got something cool to show you. You guys want to see something awesome? You want to see something really, really cool? Example slider 2. I forgot to show you this. I got to show you something very, very freaking cool. It's going to be a plug for Larry. Yes, I'm Larry's pimp now. I just want to see this, make sure it worked first. Why am I doing that? No, it's okay. As a float, it's working now, but precision is still wrong. So that's not working. But what I want to do, okay, I want this to be int. So this is going to be a $, example. It's going to go from $50 to $250. Because why not? Doesn't even need that. Whatever. That'll be 2 sliders. Hey, look, I want to show you something really cool. I'm going to leave that as it is. I'm going to, I need to bring up, not that, new. Oh, wait, I'm going to have to compile it. Okay, hold on one second. I'm going to go new, I'm going to go to GitHub, Bitbank, little fs cli. So this, I want to show you this. I'm going to post this in chat. I meant to do this earlier. So this is called little fs cli, but I believe there's also a SQUiXL. Let me just download this. And now let's just go back to here. And repositories, spiff, no? Maybe he hasn't published the spiffs one yet. Okay, hasn't published the spiffs one yet. That's okay. So, let me show you what this does. But first, I need to cd downloads little, oh, I'm going to unzip it. Unzip it. I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to go make. Cool, done. So check this out. I'm on my Mac. Yep, I'll make that bigger. Can I make it bigger? I'm on my Mac, just sitting in a terminal window, and I can type little fscli /dev /cu.usb modem. Or I might need to close serial just for the moment. I'll have to check after. List. And it just went and showed me the files in my little fs partition on my SQUIXL. On my SQUIXL, I can do little fs, right? What can I put there? What's in here? Main.c, and, oops. And if I do a list again, main.c is on my device. So he started doing this for spiffs, and I said to him, hey, I need it for little fs. Who uses spiffs? Spiffs is shit. Anyway, so he's made this little, it's right now, I mean, you can compile it for any platform, like it could be Windows, it can be, I'm assuming Linux, whatever. It's straight C. I believe it's just C. Anyway, but it basically is a way that you can, right now it can only do one directory level deep, right? So you can't do like nested. If you do list, it won't show you inside other things, whatever. But if you do, I think if you just run it, it gives you a list of commands. Oops, went too far. Here we go. So you got format, read, write, list, delete. Right? So you can put images on there, or audio, or whatever, or get things off. Like, Larry is just legend. Anyway, imagine a GUI-based version of this that lets you read and write stuff. So you know how, so there is already a tool in Arduino somehow that you can run, that you can, after you flash some stuff on it, you can run, it runs this script that can copy some things into spiffs for you, right? But it's really limited what you can do with it. Like, you can't say what is inside my spiffs already. You can't get stuff off it again. So the reason I wanted this working with little FS is because he's working on, he's got a PNG and JPEG encoder. I'm using the decoders on here. Like, the background image here is a PNG, that's a JPEG, but all these icons are PNGs. I got a whole bunch of icons, whatever. But he's also got an encoder. I want to be able to take screenshots from here, store them in the file system, and get them off. And I know I could do it through a, you know, a web request or blah, 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 whatever, or a socket, whatever, but I could just do it through the file system. So, anyway, Larry's a legend. I have problems promoting myself, but I'm not going to have a problem promoting him. Everyone should go and donate to Larry. He makes all this really cool free stuff. And he needs to get supported because he's not making enough money to pay his to feed his family, providing free things for people. But he deserves it. He's just, the guy's just great. You know what else? I don't know if he's published it. He also just did something else that is really freaking awesome. He might not have published it yet. What was it? Wait. Oh, damn. What was it called? Let me, hang on. I need to find it. I don't know if he's done it yet. So I'm just looking back. Oh, IP camera. No. Okay. Hasn't done it yet. Hasn't published it yet. He's written a library that lets you view public IP cameras on your ESP32 on a screen. Yeah, I'm not gonna, I can't show you stuff he's done. Whatever. Okay. Chuck his link in the chat. Didn't I already chuck it? I chucked his repo. Here's his main GitHub. I'm trying to convince him to put together a landing page website with a donate button because he deserves it. He really should. Whatever. So just to show you though, so that this whole little FS thing that I just did, it requires code on the device as well, obviously. I just hacked it in myself right now. It needs to be in a nicer format, which you'll do that. But it's basically a couple of enums and this one function. Oh, there's some this stuff here and this one function. In my case, I'm using a little FS, but all you do is call this in a loop. And it won't do anything unless there's serial available. And if there's serial available, it will do all this stuff. So you need something on the microcontroller as well. he designed it. His example code replaces whatever is in your code on your device. I didn't want that. I wanted it to be alongside it. So I extracted it into a function. So it needs a bit of cleanup still and some other stuff, and he's going to keep working on it. But it's really, really cool. Very, very cool. Okay, so back to this. Why are we not seeing Larry's webcam too? Oh, did he put it on his blog? Okay. So I know that he had... Where did that go? Oh, interesting. I don't know why that's not opening. Okay, this is his blog post. Okay, right. So this is just someone's public. I don't know why they've got their backyard. Like, it's a public IP. But anyway, that's one of those cheap yellow display things, and it's just showing the feed on there. And he gets like, it's only 2 frames a second or something, but it's very cool. But he's gonna, oh, he did. Oh, he's got it inside that. He's got it inside the library for that thing. I thought he was going to do a separate library. Anyway, he really needs, he deserves, yeah, into his CYD repo. Thanks, Johnny. Appreciate that, doing the link. Oh, I did open it. Look at that. That's weird, but I didn't see it. Anyway, he deserves lots of love from people. Okay, so if I don't understand. If maybe I need, See, also value max isn't working properly. Let's get them both up. I really wanted to play with the little VGL stuff today as well, but I didn't think I was going to get stuck on this. I mean, this whole float thing, this should be a no-brainer. Like, I don't get what's happening there. I mean, I can round it. But I shouldn't have to round it. If you take a float, if you make an float an int, it should just give you an int with no decimal places. You'd think. Also, before I forget, and the IDF is 23, can't use standard form. It's not C++20 because it came up saying format doesn't exist when I tried format. That's what I asked before. I thought it was 17. Okay, they're over the top of each other. Whoa, what happened there? Did I forget? Did I set something wrong? Oh, I left the 2 off. You idiot. And I forgot to put a space. So why is this? Because the value is... I don't understand why it's displaying that way. Yeah, I included format, and it came up saying that format is not part of the standard library, which means it's the wrong version of C++. So I know I can set a later version, but I don't know if it's compatible. So, I know that this, like it's that and this is working correctly, because I can see here that there's no decimal places. Like it's doing a whole number, even though the zeros are there, and this one's not doing a whole number. So I know that these things are right. Yeah, I don't know. But it doesn't make sense to me that, like, what's if okay, so what's if I just did this? I know this is ugly, but what's if I just go int v min equals I shouldn't have to round it though, right? I shouldn't have to do that. Maybe somehow it's still thinking it's a float. I mean, once I've worked this out, I'll fix it all, but there's got to be something else going on. Wait, hang on. That's for the value things, right? I think here. Oh, that could be why. Okay, let's just do the same here. Right, so if value was changed, if value type equals int, value text, we're going to go int val equals int current value, and then we're going to do val else current value. Catch you later, Graham. Thanks again for your really nice words on Discord, by the way, mate. I really appreciate it. It was very nice of you to comment and say that. Yeah, but half Greek geek, I know how to use formatting, but there isn't a way to do that. I don't want to use sprintf with a local buffer. If I wanted to do that, I wouldn't be using standard strings. So yeah, something weird about standard strings. Could be a bug with standard strings. Oh, okay. So the int one, it works now. For set precision is absolutely not working. 100% not working. Set precision 1 is doing nada. But the value on the side is not working. Why is that not working? That should have been, oh, okay, it's going 50 to 250, which is correct. But those values on the side there, I mean, the min and the max, they should be 50 and 250. Oh, hang on. Right. Interesting. That's why. Okay. There's one more thing I need to add. Luckily, I only have to do this once. That's what I need to do. 0.1 F. Okay, and then here. Else, although that still should be showing the value. Max. And then this should be so maybe I should do the same thing and show the value and not the text. Let's do that. So current value. %d else let's see what this does. Oh, interesting. This should be parent, UI parent. Anyway, it's fine. Sorry about this. Always. It's always a shit show. Coding on stream. Yeah, I don't want to use O strings either. Oh, I'm buffering. Oh, buffering a lot. Is everyone still there? Almost 4,000 dropped frames. Yay! Oh, okay. 0, 100. Okay, that's now giving me the step. And that's... Oh, that's not good. Ah, what did I do there? I broke that one. if it's int, it should be showing that. Oh, right. I've lost the... I can't do this. Damn it. I can't do this. Because then I lose the suffix and prefix. Oh, I might not like that. Interesting. Yeah, okay, fine. That's okay. Still here happens when you're compiling, uploading. No, or it shouldn't. See, that's showing 0.0 and oops and 100.0, but it's doing right justified based on all the decimal places, and it shouldn't be because of the set precision, right? So yeah, that's just wrong. I don't. So unless I do, shouldn't matter when I set those. Okay, I'm gonna ignore the formatting for the moment because that's not even what I wanted to add before, which is really annoying. What I wanted to do, get some button. Say if suffix equals percentage, else. Then I want to draw this in, for the moment, in black. And then I want to draw that there, draw that to that. That's going to be a width. I want it to be a position. minus 10. Does this work? Number equals number to int. That's best. Not what I wanted. I'm not. I want to. Yeah. No. I'm not going to int. It's not a conversion to int. It's the issue is the converting from an int or a float to a string.
Cian, chat has disconnected.
Okay. See, I'm flashing. I was flashing then. I'm flashing now, and I'm not dropping frames. Oh, I didn't see any drop frames here. Okay. Anyway. Ooh, connect. Okay. So you see what I've done with the thing? It's now showing me, because it's a percentage, it's got a dark and a light side. How cool is that? Oh, possibly, but OBS isn't showing me drop frames then. See, it's showing me drop frames now. Not YouTube's showing me issues right now about buffering. But anyway, to see how it explodes. I don't want to explode. I don't want to work that way, wagon loads. So this is, yeah. There are lots of convoluted ways I can solve this. I don't want to solve it in a convoluted way. 2 strings should just work. Why would standard 2 string float not give me 1 decimal place when I set standard set precision 1 first? But to answer your question, no, you can't explode strings like that. Standard. Wow, okay. And I'm back to this one. So it's giving me the same shit. So I'm gonna have, like, am I really gonna have to do this just to display it? That is so annoying. I'm not using standard out. I'm using Arduino. So why doesn't it work? Oh my god. All that I typed, where did it go to? Yeah, that's a very nasty way of doing it though. That's a memory, like you're just destroying memory doing that. Look at that. Convert it to an Arduino string temporarily. Wow. Convert it to an Arduino string. Shit. Yeah. Wow. It's really nasty. Johnny, how do you know, like, you said Arduino was using 20. Really? I don't think so. By the bullet and use SNPrintf, but I don't really, like, that's just, I don't know what I mean, that's having to do, oh, okay. Okay. All right. This is just nasty. Very upset. Very upset. Yeah. I'm gonna do standard string. Oops. Standard string UI control. Oh my god, learn to type C on. String from float. Val. U int 8t precision. Val. Oh, how am I going to do an embed of that? Okay, let's just assume we just want one precision for the moment. Return. Okay, let's try this. RAM, I poked the value into RAM, and then ran the program and started by rereading RAM back into the variables. Cool. So I want to do from float length. Okay, so that will return that, which will then give me the length. All right. And then here, that should be from float. So I still don't know why the 250 and the 50 isn't there. Let's see if this works. People launch for streams, people should be put in jail. Yeah. Well, you shouldn't need streams. Shouldn't need to use streams to. Why can't I do? Include C standard IO. Shouldn't need streams to build strings. Wait, why? Okay, standard string buff. Never cross the streams, no. Wow, 2 hours, and I feel like I've done nothing, as usual. I wanted to do the range slider today and see if I can start on the scroll list, but all I've done is add a suffix, a prefix that sometimes works, sometimes doesn't, and a value type that is hit and miss. Can't get one out of your head. Crossing the streams or ELO. Ghostbusters. Okay. Oh, look at that. 100.0, 0.0, 50. I mean, I haven't done the step yet, but that works. And that's working, but it's still not setting those. It doesn't like the print there. If I go, oh, I wonder if I did this. Percent %S, %D, %S. And I did prefix.c string. Whoops. Comma value max, comma suffix.c string. Oh, I've lost my suffix. Wait. Value text equals that, then prefix. Where's my suffix? My prefix is working, but that should be %. Ah, because I went back and did that. Did I? No, I'm using value text. And value text should have the suffix. Doesn't equal nothing. What is going on? Okay, so what I'm gonna, this is annoying. I'm gonna go a string from int like that is stupid that I need to do that. But I'm going to oh my god, try that again. Int val. Not val, not float, int. Did I do the int val? Yeah. Okay. Float int val val int val int. That's probably needed. Okay, so let's see what we've got now. Define true, false. Define up, down. Define in, out. Ah. Like, if you want to know how close I am to shipping my first SQUiXLs, I've already got my packaging underway. I've got new boxes, and I've got custom EVA foam coming for my laser cutter to cut custom inserts for them to live in. Like, it's gonna happen. And you know what's going to happen? I'm going to get all this together and then I'm going to sell 7 of them in total. And I'm going to go, well, that was a total waste of time. Ooh, 50, 250. Right, because it's not calculating it with the suffix prefix. But I've lost the percentage. Set suffix. For some reason, I've lost the percentage, but I've got those going now. Did it right, high, low. Ah, okay. I'm going to stop on that. Like, that's just annoying. I need to start setting these things up. I need to do the 2 USB ones first. What did I go to that screen for? I need to set these up with the pick and place machine. I need to make these. I don't have a working version of this. This is still a blue printed PCB inside. I need to, because I didn't prototype that board. I went straight to panels. Yay! Maybe it should be at that. Yeah, maybe. That could be why it's not working. It could be dropping it. That's a good point. Thanks, Dutch Taurus. I didn't even think about that. So anyway, I need to set these up and build those, finish the dock, finish the adapter, and then focus on getting this on and going. And then, yeah, it's pretty exciting. Been a long time to get to this. Okay. That was annoying in so many levels. Like, I spent how long praising standard string, and then this is the first time I've encountered an issue with standard string. Like, that's just so frustrating. So I can solve all of this by storing an extra string that permanently holds the min and max values that are not calculated on the fly like I'm doing now. But that seems wasteful because those values don't ever change. But then I have to calculate them once. So maybe I'll just do that. Would you please put a post on the Make, Innovate, and Create AGF as soon as it's available? Sure. Yeah. Although I will be, once I get more content on the store page, I'll make it so people can sign up for a notification. But yes, I'll post on there and on Twitter and everywhere else. But it's going to be a limited run to start with, right? The first batch is going to be, there's going to be some experiments in the first batch. The first experiment is going to be, it's going to be the first products I ship with a battery. So although that's possible now, I've not done it, and I don't know what's going to happen when I do. It should arrive okay. I've been told it'll arrive okay, but it may not. I don't know. So there's that, and I need to make sure I get the paperwork right for that. It's also going to be an experiment because I'm only going to have a small number to start with and no way of gatekeeping who buys them and who doesn't, because once the product page is live for people to buy, anyone can buy from it. I can't restrict access to it. So I might not have enough to start with. I've also got to do things like once this one is assembled, because the position of the connector for the ribbon cable on this is slightly different to the one I'm using right now. My final prototype, I must have moved it by accident, and the cable position was slightly off. It's been fixed on this. So once that's done, I need to build a jig that allows me to attach the screen to the PCB. Because once it's attached, it can't be moved. And so I need to ensure that, you know, can you imagine, like for every one of these that I put a screen on and the screen isn't exactly in the right position to make it fit the case, it's a dead board. I can take the screen off. Actually, I can't even take the screen off. Anyway, not without potentially damaging the screen. So, your dock allows you to dock the display in front of something. You mean attach it in, you mean like a wall thing? Sure. It's already on my list, but I'll get there eventually. Just received my C Studio e-paper display. Cool, nice. Okay, I'm going to fire up the line. No, I'm going to jump in and do this. I'm not going to do this on stream, but I'm actually going to fire up the line, get things ready, get this going. I'll report back. Whoa, okay. Juggling a lot of things at the moment. Thanks for joining. Thanks for sticking around, those of you that did. We got very little done. So disappointing. Ooh. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, I just had an idea. Oh, we'll use the Home Assistant display eventually, 7.5 inch. Oh, 7.5 inch, wow. Docking it as a front panel of a power supply. Yeah, this is a bit more than you want to stick in front of a power supply, wagon loads. Like, you can just get a cheap screen to put on there. Like, this is not going to be a cheap screen. And when you say docking on the front of it, how's it going to do that? It needs the matching magnetics on the other side. So what do you mean by power supply? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I just, whoa. Should we quickly do one thing? Because I'm going to forget to do this. Let's go back to here just for a moment. This is not something you're going to necessarily see on the screen. I had an idea. So I want to have a uint 16t dark tint, and I'm going to want to, it's going to be 8, and I want, might be too many, light tint 8, and so I want to, I'm going to go screen when the screen is added. Okay, for float I equals 1.0 if I is less than 1.0 if no less than 0.9 if I plus equals 0.1. Make it a universal front panel for anything. But that doesn't make sense. It can't be for anything, because it's just a bit of plastic plugged into a bit of plastic with a dock with a USB cable going into it, because you need to be able to flash with it as well as charge. And then what does that talk to and interface to? It's not a universal thing for panel for anything, because it can't be like that. It's like saying make it a car, but it also needs to be able to float and be a submarine and be an aeroplane, and it needs to be able to ski down a mountain, and it needs to be able to fly to Mars, but it's a car. Yeah. Yeah, there's no RFID, there's no anything. This is its product, and it won't be hardware-wise anything other than what this is. Right? So that's what you're asking for is not what this is. I appreciate what you're asking for, but it's not what this is. Equals darken, whoops, back color, comma, I. Oh, no. That's interesting. Let's not do that. That's bad. Int I equals 0, I is less than 9, I plus plus. That should go and we go float C equals 0.1 F. Okay. I want this to be C. Oops, light tint I equals lighten. Back color C. So, wait, I said there's 8 of them. So there needs to be 8. Oh, and I need C to go plus equal 0.1. Got that bit. So let me explain what this does. I've written 2 functions, a lighten and a darken, and they take a 565 color, and based on a float, they either darken it or lighten it. So that's how I'm doing the different colored tints. So this background here, right, right behind this is a 2% darken of the red. So it's not black. It's not going to black. Well, it's eventually going to black, but it's a darkening tint. And then I've got a lighten as well, right? So this box here is a lighten of the red. They're going towards white. So, but what I'm doing right now is in every control, based on what I need, I've got these lighten here and darken. I don't want to use those anymore because I have to not only repeat them everywhere, but if I want to add a third tint, I need to go and add another variable, whatever. What I'm doing now is storing in the screen, which is the parent of it, a pre-calculated list based on, okay, I'm going to have, right, based on the color that is set, that's passed in when you set it up. It pre-calculates 8 tint levels, 8 darken and 8 lighten steps. So I've got 8 of each. Yeah, that I can draw on. So gives me a lot more flexibility of range. Although, yeah, so I should be able to now, for the slider, let's leave the sliders. For the, no, okay, for the slider, so I'm going to comment that out, which is going to give me errors now. And then for the dark shade, I'm going to go dark, I'm going to go UI, oh my God, UI parent. Oh, did I make dark tint? Did I make them? Do I need to make them make a getter on them, or should I just make them public? I'm just going to make them, for now I'm going to make them public. It's easier. Naughty see on. Dark tint, I don't know which one it was. So that was 0.2. So that'll be 0, 1. So be dark tint 1. Yeah, okay. And then the lighten would be, that was 0.4, so 0, 1, 2, 3. Light tint number 3. So it just gives me different shades, right? Different shades of lighten and different shades of darken. Right. Oh, I could have joined them all together. Why don't I just go, instead of lighten and darken, it could just be a tint. And so the center is the normal color, and then the lower one, so it'll be 4 lower and 4. Oh, yeah, that'd be better. For the moment, I'll just do this. Because now on the slider, instead of me using black when I was doing this bit here, I could just now go that could be dark, and I'll make that 0, 1. Let's see if this, I don't know if this will even compile. Yeah, what is the class has no light tint? UI element. Ah, right. Because I need to call it on the screen. That's okay. So we should actually make it here. We'll just call it back color tint. And here we're going to go if oh, actually, no, we won't do that. That's, I'm going to have to change the way the floats work. Okay. The way they're passed in here, because it's expecting 0 to 1 and 0 to 1. Okay, I'll have to think about it, but let's just see if that worked. I'll see what it looks like. Okay. So that they didn't pick the right colors, but you can see that there's the line is different. It's not dark enough. Ah, the dark would be higher, not lower. Ah, right. The higher end. Right. The lower would be less dark. So it's reversed. Right. Okay, I can fix all that. The point is to make a range of tints that are consistent. Like a tint low, medium, high. A tint dark, low, medium, high. A tint light, low, medium, high. Something like that. Anyway, I'll keep working on that. Okay, whatever. It was just an idea I had just then. I'll stop now. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for sticking around. Have a great week. And don't forget, sale ends end of the month. So there's still 7 days left to get 15% off on my store. Yep. 15% off. This one. No. So, yep. Till the end of the month, and then it stops. April 30, it's finished. Yeah, bye-bye for realsies now. Okay, bye everyone, thank you. I'll catch you all next week. Cheers. Coffee time.